Hey everybody. So I wanted to record this, but I didn't know how to record it on this software because I've never recorded on it before. But I said if I don't record it, I put in the community tab on YouTube about coming on here. So I'm here. This is not a video for gameplay or anything. It's nothing like that. It's more of a time crunch for me to come here and do this real quick and then go. So I'm sorry if you came to see gameplay. So I titled it I titled My Mother's Story. So most of you know that the past since October, beginning of October, I believe it was beginning of October when I had taken my mother in because she didn't look good, and then they told us she was diagnosed with liver cancer. There's a lot to this story. I'm not sharing all of it. I'm sharing some of it. When in general, my mother was born on April 20th, 1950. On April 28th, we celebrated her 73rd birthday. And in I think it was October when we found out she had cancer. They told us she had one spot on her liver, that she's a candidate for surgery. So we we're very excited that she's a candidate for surgery, but not by any means happy or, comfortable with the fact of her having cancer. They performed an MRI. That's how they told us. CT scans, MRIs, some stuff like that. And they told us to get her healthier because she was pretty healthy, but she needed just to gain some weight. In February, they did the second scan. They told us she has 2 spots. So we asked them what they think we should do. And we followed their instructions for me as a chef to cook for her and give her everything she needs and have her walk around, exercise, and she did everything they told her. The whole time I had asked them, what level is this cancer? Because I don't know too much about it, but I would like to know what level it is so we can have a better idea what we're dealing with, and they could never tell us what it is. So we just kind of went by their word and just kind of did what they said. About 5 days before her birthday, they had done another, I think 5 days or a week before her birthday, they did another MRI. I think MRI or CAT scan, but I think it was MRI. And they told us that she has stage 4 cancer and her liver has tons of spots on it now. Then I received a call from the cancer specialist that her cancer has advanced and she's in no position to get chemotherapy anymore because she's too frail and too weak. On Mother's Day, I decided to celebrate Mother's Day at my house like I always do. For her birthday, I invited the whole family to her favorite place to eat. And then on Mother's Day, I invited her, my lady, and her kids, because she's a mother and my mother's a mother. So we had dinner at my house, and everything was fine. On Monday, I picked her up and took her to Kaiser in the city of San Leandro to get fluid removed from her stomach. We walked in together. They removed fluid from her. Then we went downstairs, had lunch together, and came home. By Wednesday, she was having pain, and her pain was not being dealt with Tylenol. So we asked him, can you guys give her something that would maybe help a little bit more? They prescribed something for her, and I went and picked it up and came home, and Thursday morning I gave it to her. It knocked her out for like 5-6 hours on the couch, so I was worried, and I was keeping an eye on her breathing. And then she woke up, and she said it was helping her. By I think 10 p.m. I gave her a half a pill because I thought it was too strong. So I broke the pill in half and gave her half to her. Wednesday night, I stayed up all night, just going to her room every 10 minutes, making sure she's breathing okay. Thursday night, I did the same thing. At 6 a.m., she woke up. She was in pain, so I gave her another half a pill. And then I told my dad to watch her while I go to sleep because I hadn't slept. So, sorry, my text message is just blowing up. I gave her the pill and I went to sleep. And then at some point, my father woke me up and said something is not right. So I got up and ran into the living room, and she's breathing very shortly. The breathing doesn't look correct. And I'm looking at her, and one of her eyes is drifting to the left while she's trying to focus on me on the right. So I'm looking at her like, that's not a good sign. So I maneuver myself to the right side where her left eye was going, to her left side where her left eye was going. And then she could see me, because the other side she couldn't. I carried her to the bedroom and sat her at the end and realized that she is not doing good. So I called the hospital and tried to talk to a nurse to get some advice. What do I need to do? And they told us that to call 911, which I was already about to do. So we did. An ambulance showed up. A fire truck showed up. They put Narcan in her nose because her lungs were giving out. And they revived her because the pain medication was too strong for her and it caused her respiratory problems. The ambulance took her into ICU. And in ICU, they took her in. I went in. They stabilized her. They sent me home. They wouldn't let me stay. So I left, came back the next morning. And I told the doctor to remove fluids because I know she's in pain. And they didn't do it Saturday morning. By 8 hours later, the doctor said, I'm actually going to remove the fluids, which I had told him to do it earlier. I'm not a doctor, but I can see things. You know, I'm not blind either. I can see where the pain's coming from. So they removed fluids from her. They kept her until she stabilized, and they sent her into regular hospital. I was there as many nights as they allowed me to. And then some nights they wouldn't allow me to, which was extremely frustrating. It was through this time, through the week that she was out of ICU, she was more coherent and she could have a conversation with me, but extremely, extremely weak. So I asked her to give me the recipe for my favorite dish as a chef because she always wanted to teach me that. So I filmed her telling me. It took a long time because she couldn't catch her breath. On Wednesday night, I just turned 45. Every parent's dream is to see their kid get married and bring grandchildren. Unfortunately, I never found the right person, but I've been seeing somebody, and she's been really good. So Wednesday night, I asked my mother, I said, I know you wanted to see me get married, and right now you're in this position, but you have to be a part of my decision when I do make it. I asked for her blessing. She gave it to me. I came home and I asked for my dad's blessing, and he gave it to me. I called my lady's kids and I asked for their blessing. One's 15, one's 18. They gave me their blessing, but their older sister doesn't live here and I've never met her. So on Thursday, the middle child reaches out to the oldest one and gets her on the phone with me. And this is the first time I'm talking to her. We had a little bit of a long talk and I told her my story, and then I asked for her blessing and she gave it to me too. At 4 p.m., I left the hospital. I went to the jewelry store and I bought a ring. I told my lady to come with the kids to the hospitals, the two that are with her. She came there and I proposed to her in front of my mom. She was weak, but she saw it. She congratulated us, and I took them out to eat afterwards. I wish my mom could have came. She couldn't. So after that, I went back to the hospital. Friday rolled around. She was doing good, so I went to sleep in the hospital. That's where I sleep every night. 8 in the morning, they woke me up and they said she's not doing good. She was transferred to ICU again. She's been in ICU since then. I was looking for hopes to be able to bring her home and maybe give her hospice care at the house, because she always, if she ever left, she wanted to leave in her own house, not in a hospital bed. 2 days ago, that option looked a little likely that it was going to happen. Yesterday was a really bad day, really tough day. Then there was good moments with it where I thought, okay, she's turning around again. I've been sleeping every night in the ICU, and today when I spoke to the doctor, he told me that. I asked him, how is she doing? What are we looking at? And it's not looking good. The machine that's on her face is helping her breathe. I didn't incubate her, but she's the level right before it, where there's a full face mask forcing oxygen in. And the blood thinners that they give her is causing bleeding in her urine, so we stopped it. When I look at her now, she's fading. She can barely look at me. She can barely squeeze my hand. The doctor told me that she has 1 to 2 days left, that her system is slowly starting to shut down. The stage 4 liver cancer is pretty much causing the liver to slowly not work, which is causing the kidneys not to work, which has caused a lot of fluid in her stomach, which is all over her body, where it's pressing against the lungs, where she can't breathe. I declined all CPR, incubation tubes down her throat, or breaking her chest trying to get her heart started if it stops. If I remove that face mask, she probably has a few hours. Probably not, maybe an hour. So I have to make the decision soon to make that decision of slowly transferring her from the full oxygen to half oxygen and allow her to slowly fade. 40 years ago, in the middle of a revolution in my country of Iran, in the middle of a war between Iran and Iraq, every night my mother stayed up because we were getting bombed. So that's 4 times 365 days. The radio in the city of Tehran would turn off. That means they turn off electricity, hoping that the planes that are dropping bombs would fly over us. My mother stayed up every one of those nights. Never slept. Woke us up as soon as the radio went off. We tried to get out of the country. My mom, my dad, my grandpa, and my grandma. A month before we could leave, my grandma's cancer really got strong. And she refused because she had colon cancer and they wanted to connect it back to her and she didn't want it. So a month before we left, I sat next to her in the bedroom. I was sitting next to my grandma at the age of 5 and I remember it vividly. And I was holding her hand while she took her last breath. 40 years later, I'm holding her daughter's hand. Back then, I had no idea what was happening when I was sitting next to her and she took her last breath. But now that I know that the time is coming, it's the worst deja vu. Give me 1 second, please. So it's like I didn't cry when my grandma passed because I couldn't understand what was happening. I remember it. But now that I'm coming close to holding my mother's hand, which was her daughter, 40 years later, it's like everything that I didn't feel back then doubled up on everything that's happening today. So I wanted to take the time to just thank you guys for every time I went live. You guys were extremely kind to me and positive and sent a lot of positive vibes and energy towards me and my family. when I made this channel, I didn't make it for money. I made it because I like the game. Never had an idea that a community would be built of people that are caring, kind, that they're not just about the game, and relationships and friendships were built here, and everybody's all across the planet. And I thought the least I could do is go live, update you guys with the situation that I'm going through, and let you guys know. And say that I'm within a few days. I can't even imagine her not being here, but within a day or two, she won't be here. The hospital that she was in completely failed her. They misdiagnosed everything. Everything they did was backwards. They screwed it up. Unfortunately, my mother has to suffer from it. My mother was my critic for my food as a chef. She would try everything. I have a relationship good with both of my parents, but different with each. You know, she always pushed me wherever direction I wanted to go, no matter what. At the age of 44, when I worked graveyard in San Francisco, she would still call me to make sure I'm okay. So, you know, whatever you guys do, if you have a relationship with your family, keep them close. I never thought I would be going through this at this time. I thought she would get old and one day fade away. If I could show you guys pictures of a year ago, 6 months ago, and from Mother's Day till today, she's changed so much. Where a family member who worked in the hospital didn't know she was there when she heard she went to go visit her. She didn't even recognize her. So I went there and showed her where she was because she wasn't sure if that was her. My mom probably weighs about 80 pounds right now. I've been sitting there, laying there for 2.5, 3 weeks almost now, watching her suffer. And I can't let her do that anymore. So this was just a stream to update you guys, and I thank you for your time. I'm taking my dad over there right now to see her because we're not sure if this is the last time he'll see her. So we're going there together right now so he can spend some time with her. And then I'm bringing her home, and I'm going to go back to the hospital and spend the night there again. And I'm going to stay there every night until the time comes. To take my mind off things, I took my gaming phone with me, so when she's completely asleep, I can at least, because I can't sleep because I'm watching her, so I can at least keep my mind busy, because just emotionally it's just crazy. Never had to deal with this. It's like one of my organs stops working and it stays there. That's what it feels like when you lose someone or are about to lose someone. Is that organ is there, but it's not working anymore. It's a part of it inside your body that doesn't work. And that's how it feels to me. That part is starting to die inside of me. As she's breathing her last breaths. It's like that organ is taking its last breaths too. So thank you guys for taking the time and coming and hanging out. I appreciate you guys. I have nothing but love and respect and admiration for every one of you that has always been supportive and kind to me. And we'll see when I return. When it happens, you will know because I'll announce it on my channel. And you guys will know. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get going. Thank you all. I hope you guys have a good night.